Intuition discovers blood and glory at the Great Wall of China.
At the heights of the Great Wall of China, at Badaling, which is near Beijing, death. Death screamed at me. Why death? Because the Great Wall of China is simply magnificent. You can even see it from outer space, they say.
Using our psychic senses, we will show you the world as you have never seen it before. You are in conversation with Celia and Tarun Cherian, spiritual visionaries, each of us who has explored the cosmic mysteries for 5 decades now. At its height, the Great Wall of China spanned 21,000 kilometers. History says it took 2,000 years to build, starting in 700 BC. What began as earth ramparts reinforced by stone then became one of the great wonders of the world. Intuition reveals several brutal battles. The first that we could see happened about 2,200, 300 years ago. It was in a hilly mountain district near Chengde. On one side, we had a mass of warriors with strange banners, like a dried wolf head or a dried bear. On the other side, we could see soldiers on ramparts with a golden dragon banner. For those times, it was huge, about 5,000 warriors milling around. The soldiers on the ramparts were outnumbered, but since they had the advantage of height and strategy and tactics, using spears and nets, they absolutely decimated the screaming warriors below, who were truly terrifying themselves, for they had marks, either charcoal or scars on their faces. They were screaming. They had stone axes, spears, and courage. But they were defeated and decimated. While history does not record this particular battle, everything about it that our intuition got is very much in synchrony with what we know. What the warriors wore, the banners that they collected under, the month at which the battle happened, late August. And so Celia's intuition of death, death, death is very true. The walls and ramparts of the Great Wall of China are formidable. There were places where boiling oil could be poured, layered defenses through which arrows could be shot, dead ends, traps. It was extremely effective defense and could easily stop roving bands of warriors sweeping down. Intuition plunges us into several bloody scenes. In one, we see the eyes of someone neck deep in the mud. And as we look, we hear thunders of hooves racing towards him. We see arrows slashing. And then we see warriors playing a brutal game, trying to see who would be more accurate in cutting up and killing soldiers buried neck deep in the mud. This vision probably comes from a time when the Mongols had won and were extracting their pound of flesh. Intuition also takes us to another time. Here we could sense artillery exploding, shards of stone racing across, flashes coming from the sky. And when we read up, we realize that at Badaling, there was a pitched battle between the Chinese imperial troops and Japan. We hear that 8,000 Chinese troops were slaughtered near Badaling. Mismatched bravery on one side and Japanese technology on the other.
Just climbing up the steps made me out of breath. The construction techniques are simply magnificent. In history, I learned about a rice slurry mortar that lasts hundreds of years, whereas cement only lasts for decades. But only recently, I learned of a darker side. In some parts of the wall, animal blood was used.
Across the world, the Great Wall of China has earned respect. But in medieval China itself, and in the vaster populace, the Great Wall is called by a less glorified title. Yes, it is known as the world's longest cemetery. It is magnificent, between 20 to 50 feet high, crowning mountains going right across the most rugged and terrible terrain. But then you think to yourself, how was it built? What cost did it extract? And when you do the maths, we see that something like 300 million tons of earth and stone. No, far more. Probably 2 billion tons of material had to be shifted and moved, carried up on human back itself, because many of the mountains are extremely steep. It was constructed in the most brutal conditions. The winters in China can be freezing, the summers, well, beyond roasting. And so, yes, about 1 million workers died. And when they died, there was no eulogies. Their bodies were just tossed into mass graves. Aura seeing does more than look, it bears witness.
As I stood on the wall, I heard spirits crying out to me.
As many as 25% of those, the millions who died at the wall, are still there, waiting to be released, hoping to be heard, yearning for something more.
When I stood there on top of the wall, I released a lot of spirits, and they looked like cranes flying.
But releasing the dead is not a technique easy to master. But faced by the magnitude of pain, we ask the divine for a method that would help. And we were given this technique. Go to the Great Wall in the morning, face the west hold in your hand a white flower and chant an ancient chant. Tian Kri Dhu. O Tian Che Du. Now neither do Celia or I speak Chinese, nor are we really familiar with Chinese history. And so when we delved and asked, we realized that this chant, Tian Kri Du, actually resonates and is very similar to an ancient chant practiced 2,000, 3,000 years ago by northern Chinese shamans. I may not be pronouncing it right, but it goes something like this. Tian Chi Du. As you chant this, the spirits are first shaken. The cords binding them are released and they are lifted up. The truth is we're all intertwined. Yesterday and tomorrow. Commoner and king. The dead and the living. Thank you for subscribing to our channel, visiting creativechild.com, and growing with God.